better bedazzle us.
All right. All right. So our new email system is called Office 365. So it is a mixture of multiple different pieces. So part of this is, some of you got the Office Suite, which is the desktop. Some of you end up with just the Office Suite as a web application. I really don't like the web application myself, so I recommend keep using the Office Suite, and if you have it yourself, it will also tie into this.
How do you know what you have?
If you don't know what you have, you probably don't use any of it, would be my guess. Do you have Word and Office, or Word, Excel, Outlook?
She has an older version of Office.
Older version, okay.
But I got a new computer.
Yeah. Subscribe to Office 365.
Probably not. I know of.
If you didn't, have it on the computer. Good.
Yeah, so Office 365 now is not just the desktop version. Office 365 actually incorporates a whole bunch of other items. So one of these big things that we've implemented for you guys is the business class email. So I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that. So it is still using your CaldwellAdvantage.com email address. And so we were able to migrate that forward. We migrated all the email off of your old server. So everything you guys see in the system now is what was sitting on the old server. There is a spam filter. I will talk a little bit more about that spam filter because it is different than the spam filter you guys have had, as well as it is a learning spam filter. So what you guys have right today, you guys will be able to help direct it to get what you guys want. Another piece that I'll talk about here in just a minute is shared calendars. Also, let you guys know, you each have 50 gig mailbox of storage. Now, Rhonda has the most, and she's only about 20 gig. So there's plenty of room to grow.
I get all my email and all my email, and I save all of it in perpetuity. Go ahead and find something.
All right, so one of the first questions is how do you access this new system? So there's multiple different ways to access it. So one is portal.office.com. You can access that from any computer. As long as you get to the internet, you can go to the portal.office.com, log in with your username and password, and be able to access your email system, as well as that'll give you access to your online files, as well as with the online files, you have the online versions of Office.
Have the Office 365
Is,
you're accessing from?
no. So
it's a web application.
it is a web application completely.
But some of us have the downloaded.
You have a desktop version of it as well, which will completely integrate with the web version.
You didn't
But
download
not
that. We have to download that ourselves.
those that have it. I've installed it. So you're one of the ones I've installed it for. But there's only a few. I believe they're kind of the core piece of the business, not the agents that have that.
The admin people.
The admin people, yeah. Another way you can access it is your phones. All of your phones have an Exchange connector built into them, which will connect to the system, which allow it to sync all the email, contacts, calendars, tasks, and notes. So it's not just email now. It is now doing everything organizer-based. And the last way you can access it is a desktop. So if you have the installed version of Outlook, you can access it through Outlook. If you have MaxMail, it'll work with MaxMail. It'll work with the Windows Mail. So if you like more of the application on your desktop approach more than the web browser, you have that option. Shared calendars. So this is a new feature you guys have not had before.
Not supposed to laugh.
So the shared calendars, those that have a CaldwellAdvantage.com email address have the ability to share their calendars with others. So if you wanted, you could share your calendar with the admin staff. That way the admin staff can know what appointments you're on. If you want them to, you could give them permission to even create appointments for you. So there's a lot that can be done with the shared calendars, and it is all individually. So if some want to do that and some don't, those can share with the admin and the others don't have to.
Customizable per person. Each
Per
person
person,
can set
yeah.
it to their own preference.
So can you have it so that your mail is
yet you're not sharing your whole calendar with the.
You can share your calendar in multiple different
I don't want
levels.
you to have my calendar.
I want to know where you
I don't
are.
want it. I don't need to know.
There's a couple different levels of it. Kind of a few basic. If you just do they have it called a free busy share. So people could see, hey, you're busy or you're
Not
available,
know what you're doing.
but not know what you're doing. You have the next level of that, which is just show what the top level of that is.
Not the details. But
Not the
name of
details,
what
but the
your
name of what you
item
did.
is.
Yep.
Okay.
Or you can go down so they can be editors and add to your calendar and see everything there, to a complete publisher where they can do everything for you. All right, the next piece is the Skype for Business. So I am currently using the Skype for Business to record this meeting. Also, you can have meetings like this with multiple locations, with multiple people. You can connect to it on your phone. We do that quite often where we'll have techs driving down the road joining our meetings. And just Skype for Business also is just kind of a messenger. So if you're just in the office, have quick questions back and forth between people, you can ask those quick questions. Skype for Business does require an app to be installed on the phone. It is a free app. It does install a program on the computer, which is a free program. So that one does require that installation piece.
If I'm not using the Coldwell Advantage email, I have to give them a Coldwell Advantage email.
Skype for Business, you do not.
Okay.
Skype for Business will actually connect with the free version of Skype. So if they have the free version of Skype, you can add them as a contact and talk back and forth. Or if they have another Skype for Business or Office 365 account through somebody else, they can use that as well. So, or like this meeting here, I sent out a link, and it's a web link that you don't have to have anything installed. They could just click on it and be able to join this presentation.
And that's everybody's Coldwell email.
And that's I sent it to everybody who has Coldwell email. You could send that to anybody.
Okay.
So if you wanted to meet with a client, you could send them a link, and they could join you in a video presentation.
We could have our meetings from home in our pajamas.
That sounds like everyone wants
Yeah.
The other thing we really use it for a lot is the chat, because a lot of times you're on the phone, and that way you can get quick messages back and forth. Not always email. As well as through that, you can share files, you can share presentations, all kinds of different things. That as well.
Well, we're web-based. Through our website, our email, we should have our Coldwell account for 50 years. And then the calendar, we could use that calendar.
Use it.
And I can probably link it to my phone.
Floor calendar. That'd be great.
Yeah. We should set them up. We're always set up, I think.
Okay, so I have a Coldwell Banker account, but it goes to my Gmail. I've got it
Or it
forwarded.
did before we.
It does again.
It does again. We did it. You'd help me yesterday, didn't
Okay.
you? Yep. So I'm okay with everything. And all I have to do is just click on my email and look at it.
All right. Next, OneDrive for Business. So OneDrive is an online storage for files. You can use it only as an online storage. Use it as a desktop sync, but it is a sync, so anything you change on your computer will change in the cloud. There's a way. It is like a Dropbox. This is Microsoft's version of the Dropbox. It does have a few advantages where you can share your folders with other people, and then you both can be editing the same document at the same time. So it does have kind of the shared Google Drive type stuff. Yep. Some things about the OneDrive for Business is different than just your personal OneDrive, and that's the file revisions is automatically turned on, as well as it means if you change a file and decide tomorrow that you didn't really want to change it, you can revert it back. As well as backups are happening on the business side. And the amount of space you have there is a terabyte per account. So plenty of space if you guys decide to use it.
Can it be accessed when you're not connected?
Yes.
Does it store on your device also?
If you sync it to your device, you can choose, like if you have a mobile device, you can choose what you want to sync. For a laptop, normally you sync folders, so you pick which folders you want to sync.
Okay. But it is.
But it is
If
cloud-based,
you lose
so.
your internet connection, you can still pull it.
Mm-hmm. But it's also the point, you know, you
Kind of
edit a
Dropbox.
file on your computer, you can pull it up to your phone later as well.
Right.
So it is internet connected and syncing. All right. So one of the other things I was asked to talk about, some of the dangers that exist out there. So you'll notice in this email, you can see it has a very clear IRS logo on it. From what you guys are seeing, you can't see it really clear, but up above, you can tell it does not come from irs.gov. It comes from somebody else. That is normally a clear indicator that, hey, this is a phishing email is what they call these. So they're people that are trying to get your information, and they send out these fake, that are very real-looking emails, but they're actually fake emails. So, for your banks, PayPal, eBay, Amazon, I've seen all kinds of these phishing emails that look very legit. My biggest recommendation is if they're asking you to do something, close out, open up a web browser, and you can go in through your normal method, so through the bank's website, and go check it. Don't click on the links to go check it. A lot of times they're smart enough that they capture your username and password and send you to the right place anyway. But you don't know by clicking on the links that you're actually scammed until your money's gone out of your account or something. So the biggest thing I'd say is be cautious. Some things that they normally do, a lot of these come from foreign countries, and so if you're reading the email, things to help you understand that it's fake is misspellings, bad grammar. Also, if it's not something you're expecting, don't click on it. Another one I have here is we had some issues with viruses. So here's one you can see that says it's a voicemail, and it's got this voicemail in a zip file. My experience has been zip files and email lately have been viruses. So if it's not something you're expecting and not from the person you're expecting it from, I wouldn't open it. That they'll send you mail. They're old school. One of the viruses we did get through this way is called a crypto locker. So the reason why this is a problem is this crypto locker will actually scan everything it can attach to your computer and encrypt it. And then it's called ransomware as well, because then they offer you to pay to get your data back. So with that, I recommend backups that are not always attached to your computer.
That includes OneDrive.
That includes the OneDrive and Dropbox get encrypted because they sync. Carbonite does not, because it is not a true sync. It actually is a backup and a storage in a different location. All right, so I told you I was going to talk about your spam and junk mail. So there is what they call legitimate spam. So a lot of these are bulk mail, mailing lists that you guys have probably signed up for over the years or inadvertently got signed up for. So the system by default is not blocking those because it doesn't know if you want those or not. So a lot of what we've been asked these last couple of days of, hey, we're getting all this junk and this spam, a lot of it has been these types of systems. So you kind of have two recommendations on those. If it's something you're not familiar with, I recommend actually blocking the sender. And so you can right-click on the message, there's a junk, and you can block the sender. The reason I say that is because if sometimes you can click in the unsubscribe in those emails, and instead of unsubscribing you, it says, hey, this is now a legitimate email and sends it out to other people. If it is a system that you are familiar with and you know you signed up for, or you think you possibly could have signed up for, there is the unsubscribe option, which will remove you from those mailing lists. And so I say use caution, and if you don't know which one to choose, block the sender. And that doesn't do it for the organization. It does it for you individually. So if somebody wanted to continue receiving those, they could, and you can block them. Your junk mail is going to go into a junk mail folder that is right there, unless it meets certain criteria. So virus messages, so messages it sees that has malware in it, are automatically deleted. Messages that are these bulk mail will normally show up in your junk mail. There is another feature that they call Clutter. Clutter is a smart mail system that they've created to move your low priority mail into this Clutter folder. So things that you're not, it actually detects from the time you get the mail to how long it takes you to read that mail, and as you get subsequent messages, what you do with those as well. And so if you're ignoring those or deleting those or never opening those, it'll slowly say, hey, these are low priority, and start moving them into the Clutter. And so if you're missing items, also check your Clutter. But it's also, as I said, it's a smart spam filter that it's slowly learning as you're reacting with your mail. It learns and decides what it's going to be helping you do with that mail. If those are things you don't want, we can turn them off. So the Clutter can be turned off. We also have an organizational junk mail level. We have bumped that up a few levels, and we can keep bumping it up, but I'm just afraid there's a point where we stop getting the legitimate email.
Things we want.
And the things you want, yep. And so I recommend that we start building the dynamic piece of it that's more tailored towards you guys. So as you guys get junk mail, flag it as junk, and it will start disappearing. All right. If you delete it, it will start going to your Clutter in a low priority. If you flag it as junk, then it'll start going to junk mail and start disappearing altogether.
So where's the Clutter at? How do you access?
All right, let me show you from my. I don't have it. I turned it off. It's driving me nuts. I'll show you where it's supposed to be. In your mail, actually, I do have the Clutter folder here.
Oh, okay.
So there's this Clutter folder. This is the Outlook side of it. The online version looks very similar. Click right where it says Clutter. All right. Do you guys have any other questions?
Our question is, you said that if we're using the desktop version or we haven't synced to, those files can be reversed or version. But OneDrive in the cloud cannot be.
Yeah, so there's a difference between OneDrive and OneDrive for Business. And so we had a situation with yours where they got encrypted. And so it had that automatic sync happening. You could turn the automatic sync on or off, that's your choice. But they don't have a built-in admin portal where somebody like me can come administer your account for you. And so that's where the OneDrive for Business has this portal where I can come and I can take your account and I can revert it back a few days.
The OneDrive
And
for
so-
Business, the one that's in the cloud that can be reversed.
So the OneDrive, the business version of it can be reversed. Even the desktop version of the files, when that reverses, it'll sync those back. We are working for yours with the Microsoft to get that reverted as well, but since it's a free service, they are slow to respond.
Well, they have responded. I mean,
I've seen the emails, yeah.
Yep.
So do you set up the OneDrive account and everything?
I can help you guys set up all that. Yep.
I think I have one.
It seems
It's a standard.
It's the standard.
I don't understand